Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So last night Kabam released Airwalker deep dive video and we have had quite a lot of our questions answered, plus we get a chance to look at his animations and abilities and things like that. So first things first, before we actually get to discussing the abilities and the most important information, I want to clarify a couple of things that previously were kind of up for discussion. So first and foremost, when you use that level 3 in order to gain that Mega Galactus buff, you do not lose your persistent charges. Additionally, within the same fight, once that Galactus buff expires, you get back all 3 of your power cosmic charges. So that is good. So that means once your initial ramp up of 2 fights has been done, then you have nothing to worry about. You not kind of like lose your build up, and every single fight you will have max potential. And even if you drop that level 3 within the fight, you still get back all 3 of your power cosmics, so you can still get back to it like once again and keep your level 3 throwing. So that is a very important, very big thing for Airwalker, and that is super good to know. Another thing that I was wondering about would be the appearance of his special attacks, and I am super happy about the fact that both of his special attacks are projectile based. Therefore it fits extremely well in with the idea of him having extended heavy attack charge duration and then going unblockable, and then you being able to launch these special attacks from distance. Now when it comes to dealing damage with his ability when opponents have the Dark Tide passive active and an armor break, it's actually quite interesting because it depends on your opponent's attack. As we can see here, we're dealing 454 in that fight. 1 second, where we're going to be moving on to the next fight. And this fight we're somehow dealing 46. Here's 282. But 454 is the damage over time amount you can kind of expect from a rank 3 6-star Airwalker. And it's a quite significant amount of damage, I suppose. It's definitely going to be quite annoying to deal with defense, because if this guy deals 454 with a 17 kind of like KPI, then probably when he's fully noded defending somewhere, let's say 30 KPI, you can realistically look at 1000 damage per tick being dealt to you, and that's gonna be huge. That's gonna make it feel kind of like another Void 2.0, and will 100% make sure that you have to play around it with no kind of like exceptions. You will not be able to survive long periods of time under that Dark Tide passive and an armor break debuff. So that is definitely very important. Now, I did take, however, somewhat of an issue with this fight and showcasing this fight. And the reason for it is because I recognize this fight, and it is Power Shield node from 6.4. So, for instance, here we can see that he's throwing his level 2 without the Fury buff and still getting like 12k non-crits, 12k non-crits, and like 4.8k energy damage additionally to everything else. And that's not accurate, because he's getting 400% special attack increase. Now, the reason to kind of like prove that it is exactly the same fight, we can see that Punisher is taking 0 hits from regular hits, just like opponents would on a Power Shield node. Additionally, we can see that Bane is active there. And if I quickly jump in the game and I open 6.41 quest, you can see that the first 2 fights on the way to that Punisher are the Deadpool and Venom the Duck, which are the fights that we also saw in the deep dive video. And the third fight is Punisher, where they conveniently kind of like showcase the level 2 there. And we can see that, yeah, it's the same nodes. It's the Power Shield and it's the Bane. And that was in fact that fight. So this special attack damage is not quite accurate. It's with a 400% special attack increase. So he wouldn't be hitting that hard without that Fury. No chance of whatsoever, especially with 1 armor break active. And just wanted to make that sure, that absolutely clear, because I do feel it's a bit, I don't know, sketchy to include that kind of fights where, yeah, a champion gets 400% attack boost to their special attacks and not even kind of like mention the fact that that node is active there. especially because vast majority of the players might not necessarily recognize that fight or realize what is being displayed there. It's kind of yeah, a bit, I don't know. I certainly didn't like that too much. I found it a bit sketchy. But anyway, so now we're going to be up checking out how does it look like when he has that big Galactus buff active. And here we can see that on a light hit, he can crit for like 7k, deal 2.8k additional damage. So basically, if he crits, he can do like 10k damage on like regular light hit, which is quite substantial. But it's nothing kind of like absolutely overpowered either. Overall, I must say that at large, I was quite underwhelmed by his damage numbers. Now, I do realize that there is a potential for a bigger special attack, because he can get up to 8 armor breaks, I believe. I don't know how realistic it will be, but like in this case, you can see that with 3 armor breaks against Rhino, hit on his level 2 crits for 19k, and then he has 2 non-crits for 99k, and then he also deals like 3.6k extra energy damage and I think 7k. So that level 2 will be quite hard hitting for sure, but the numbers won't be out of this world unless you have kind of like had a very, very long fight where you have managed to build up and maintain those armor breaks. Because, yeah, 3 armor breaks I think is going to be kind of like the average or the most that you're going to get in a typical fight. And everything's being done right here. We have that Fury buff active, he's unstoppable. And the damage is alright. I mean, it's not great, it's not amazing. It's rank 3 6-star after all. So the damage, I think he will have decent to good damage. I don't think he's going to be like Sunspot where he like doesn't have a single place where to display how hard he hits. And unfortunately, I feel that that would have been pretty much the only thing that actually saves Airwalker and makes him a great champion in any offensive capacity. Now, I'm sure he's going to be a very annoying defender. That much I think we established when we saw the number of damage we're going to be taking from Dark Tide if he happens to get it on us and we have Armor Break on us. So yeah, I think he's going to be very annoying on defense, especially with his animations. But offensively, I think he's going to be quite a vanilla. I think he's going to be able to hit relatively hard, not exceptionally hard. And even when it came to deep dive video itself, mentioning where to use Airwalker, then only things that were mentioned were diss track and buffed up pretty much, and then Bane for whatever reason was mentioned because he has ability to stun opponents on level 1, but so do so many different other champions. But focusing on the diss track and Bane nodes as kind of like potential uses for this character, then if you take a look at every single cosmic champion that has been released within last year and a half, let's say, we're gonna go with Terrax, we're gonna go with like Nova, we're going to go with Captain Marvel movie version, we're going to go with Annihilus, we're going to go with Silver Surfer. Every single Cosmic Champion can do those lanes. Those are the lanes that you typically mention for champions like Phoenix. Oh, she can get a lot of Furies and she can place a lot of debuffs, therefore she's good for buffed up and distract, right? But that's a very, very kind of low bar to be able to clear for a champion in 2020. Realistically thinking about it, this champion in itself has no power control, he has no immunities, he has no counters to Unstoppable, no counters to Evade, no counters to Miss Mechanics, and he's super reliant on buffs and debuffs, and altogether, yeah, he just seems to be like an absolute Nova upgraded or Terrax that hits slightly harder, I don't know, but there is so little that this guy can actually cover, in my opinion. So my sincere kind of like recommendation to every single person, as at least for the next month, would be kind of like save your money, save your shards, save your whatever, save your units, and wait for Dragon Man, because at least on paper so far Dragon Man seems so far superior. But Airwalker, he might be a decent defender, and he might be a fun champion to play with his unstoppable buffs and his heavy attack charging power gain. But he's not going to be a good champion. He's not going to be a great champion. He might hit relatively hard, but so do many, many, many other champions in Marvel Concept Champions that are just miles, leaps, and bounds far superior to what Airwalker at least seems to be right now. Obviously, I could be making a mistake as well, and we haven't seen the damage ceiling, but it's also quite evident that in a regular kind of fight, it won't be realistic to achieve that damage ceiling if you wanted to. And other than damage, the guy just really doesn't have much offensively. So yeah, I think that'll pretty much do for today. Sorry guys, I don't want to be a downer. I do like how he looks, however, obviously I will try to get at least like a 4-star to how mess around with him or something like that. Because yeah, he looks insane, like he looks fun. The animation department is still kicking it and he looks like a fun champion to use. He could potentially look similar, I don't know, to Carnage or something. Even though I don't have huge hopes for him, I'm not trying to say that every champion has to be OP. No, we need Ronins, we need Squirrel Girls in contest as well, we need fillers. Unfortunately, our Airwalker seems to be a filler, and that's about it. But yeah, anyways, that is it now for real. I'm gonna catch you guys soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have high hopes for Airwalker? I'm personally gonna be waiting more for Dragon Man. But yeah, that is it. See ya.